Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be giving my insight on how I believe is the most effective way to loop killers, such as extended chases, what to look out for, and some things to keep in mind while being chased. Now, I'm not the best looper in the game, or anywhere near it, and I still have a lot of room to improve. However, I've been playing the game for quite a while, and I thought I should just put my 2 cents in on the topic. That being said, let's get right into it. So in this first clip, I get into a chase with Blight. Now, what are some things we know about Blight? Well, for one, he's just a basic M1 killer. We don't need to deal with projectiles, so pallets are going to be safer to drop. 2, he has a pretty linear power, meaning we want to take small areas that aren't so easy for him to maneuver around. Lastly, he has a lengthy animation after using his power, which buys us time to gain distance. As you can see here, Blight is using his power. The best play is to stay in this area, because if I try leaving through one of the exits, given how narrow they are, there isn't much room for me to dodge if he goes for me. So I want to stay specifically around these boxes. Now, here, there were 2 things that could have happened. 1, he goes to the left to see in case I don't drop the pallet, or 2, makes a lunge and downs me. Now keep in mind, I'm injured, so 1 hit and I'm done. The safe call here is to just drop the pallet. That being said, it's important to note that I do have dead hard. I drop the pallet to ensure I stay up longer, and I'll keep my dead hard later on to extend the chase. So this is where I actually messed up. When I ran away, I thought he was trailing me. However, when I looked to the right, instead of making sure he was really missing or to see if he was still there, I looked away the only time I should have been looking. If I had done that, I could have kept running to the left and have exited the chase. So instead, I'm now left with 2 options. Go right, or stay where this pallet is to try to get him to break it. If I go right, I have to go through a hallway where he can intercept me, so I decide to stay at the pallet. Right here, we can see Blight is in his animation after using his power. Like we said earlier, we want to make sure we take this time to create as much space as possible, and find a loop when he gets too close to comfort. This is a pretty good loop for us because we have 2 pallets that are close by. We can also go up the stairs if we choose to do so. Here, I dropped the pallet early for 2 reasons. One reason being the same as earlier, the fact that I'm injured, but the second reason is because I remember from our earlier chase how resistant he was to breaking the pallet. One big piece of advice I can give to you when looping is to remember not only are you looping a killer, but you're looping a player, meaning to take note of what your enemy's do's and don'ts are. Now, what I'm about to show you is exactly what I meant when I said you want to take Blight in closed areas. In this next clip, I'm facing a Huntress. Just like every match, I run into a killer within half a second and take a hit. So what do we know about Huntress? Well, most importantly, she's ranged, meaning we have to be careful when dropping pallets because she can hit us in the animation we get stuck in. However, we can try to use this to our advantage as she is severely slowed when her hatchet's in her hand. Just like in the last clip, I dropped the pallet early. Not only because I'm injured, but mostly because I'm not running dead hard. You don't want to get hooked this early in the game, so I decided to drop it and immediately get to coverage by going left, just in case she pulls out a hatchet. I'm going to stop it right here and go over some things. So first off, against the Huntress, if you're confident enough, you want to bait her hatchets out because she only has so many. Another thing I do is I bait the Vault over this pallet. I learned she doesn't care for that mind game, and I don't do it the next time. However, I unfortunately go down to a very well-deserved and skillful hatchet throw. Last up, we're up against Myers. So what do we know about Myers? Well, for one, we know he gets his power off of vision on survivors, so we want to LOS him. He is also one speedy boy, so we should stay more alert. So right here I stop at this pallet. This is because a few seconds ago when he was chasing my teammate, I noticed he went around the pallet, which is what he did here. After not seeing his red stain to my right, I assumed he would come around and swing, so I throw it down. Using our tip from earlier, we want to create distance after stunning him, and get straight to a loop because he's going to catch up to us in no time. Now, here I probably could have gone around one more time, but I may have had to use my dead hard. I decide to throw it down, because since he's been chasing me for a while, I deduce he's gonna just bull rush me, since it's human nature. Also, the gens are done, and I need to keep my dead hard to get to the exit gate. We stun him, he breaks the pallet, and we escape. So what are the takeaways from this video? Well, for one, fight your urges. Looping comes down to your mental, and the less predictable you are, the more success you'll have. Secondly, remember you're against another player. Try to learn what they like and dislike to do, and use that to your advantage. Keep this in mind, because they can make the same observations about you. Lastly, be patient. Don't be so hasty to throw down a pallet, especially if you aren't injured. There are some hits worth taking over dropping a pallet, like the infamous Shack pallet. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to let me know, so I know to make more videos like this in the future. See you guys in the next video.